If you're part of the furry fandom, it's likely that you have a Sona or two, or maybe 500. But if you're new to the fandom or looking to make a new character, you might be looking for what you should and shouldn't have Fursonas. Having a Sona is a big part of the fandom and you want to make sure you do it just right. Today I'll be talking about Fursonas, specifically talking about tips to keep in mind when designing one. This won't be a tutorial on how to make a Sona or the specifics of design. This is just a simple recommendation of things to keep in mind when making a character for yourself. Now look, whether you're new or old to the furry fandom, at one point you've probably heard someone talking about a species in a way that puts them in a specific and small group. These are species stereotypes. A lot of the time stereotypes are thrown around and that can deter people from wanting to make their character a certain way. One common stereotype you might see among these are assumptions about character based on species. It's important to not judge someone solely based on their Fursona species, as it's not something you'd want others to do to you. The most prevalent stereotypes lay among the more common Fursona species such as wolves, dogs, deer, fox, and more. Due to the popularity of these species and the stereotypes of characters associated with them, people may not want to make characters of these species to avoid having these assumptions put on them. I believe people should not have to worry about having these assumptions tied onto the character if it's not wanted. On the other hand, these stereotypes can actually help build a character's personality. You may have heard common character traits among these species such as a fox being sly or a wolf being lonesome. If that's something you want in a character, it can definitely be something to keep in mind. But don't worry too much about it. Your character's personality can be whatever you'd like it to be, despite what others might say. And speaking of Fursona species, you may have heard, "There's too many of these species in the fandom already," and similar comments. While there may be a lot of one species, that shouldn't deter someone from making that species their character. It shouldn't matter that there are, say, a lot of wolves in the fandom. That just means a lot of people like wolves, nothing else. Now listen, if you want to be a fox or a wolf, that's completely fine. And no one should be telling you can't do that. If you want to base your Sona species on your favorite animal, or if you want to make a new design in a new species, both are completely valid and acceptable. Now, of course, people can have opinions on certain things. It's inevitable. Everyone has an opinion. It's not something you can really change, but that's not really the problem. The problem comes when people project these opinions on other people and try to make them fact. In this case, that would be trying to tell people what they should and shouldn't do with their characters' designs. Speaking of designs, along with species, it tends to be another important aspect to the character that a lot of people take into consideration, no matter how simple or complex it is. I see a lot of people saying that you need to have something unique or special about your character for it to be good. Firstly, your character doesn't have to have stripes, spots, and stars to be unique, nor do they have to have a crazy backstory. Each character can be unique no matter their backstory or look. Simply having a personality, cool style, or even just existing can make the character unique. While recognizability might be a plus for some people through designs and patterns, there are ways to make your character more unique and recognizable without accessories or crazy patterns. For example, Bugs Bunny, right? He's a memorable and unique character. We all know him. But he has a basic pattern to show. He is memorable due to his style, personality, and unique catchphrase. There's so many characters that are like this in various media. Sometimes the simplicity can be what's memorable about the character. On the more furry side, even unique characters such as Majira, Pokari, and other popular furries have simple designs of simple species for their characters, which is completely fine. It's their personality that makes them popular and fun to watch. When it comes to complexity, it's likely you've heard such things as, "Your Sona has too many colors," "There's too many patterns." Now personally, I believe there's no such thing. Although a character doesn't need a bunch of patterns or colors to be unique, if it's something they want, who's the right to say it's wrong? There's nothing wrong with having a complex character. Like look at Starry for example. She has a complex design being an African wild dog and a part dragon. There's nothing simple about that. There are times where the character can also be considered unique through patterns and designs. A good example of this is one of Elk Dragon's fursuit creations. Cerberus are not common among fursuits or characters in the fandom, and that's what makes this design super unique. There are many Sonas where the patterns or species make their characters unique. Just remember that unique patterns are not 100% essential to having a unique character. In short, there's no right way to make a Sona. I know if you're looking to make a Sona, this is probably not what you want to hear, but it's true. There are so many Sonas in the world and they're all so special and unique. Having a formula for making a Sona takes away the fun of creation. Just make sure you don't feel forced to make your character how someone else wants it, whether it be avoiding a certain species or pattern set. Make sure you're doing what you want and what makes you happy when it comes to your fursona. And that's all for this video. If you enjoyed it, consider subscribing for more content.